Hello, chat room. Hopefully y'all can hear us. Let me make sure. I think y'all should be able to. Yeah, sorry for the little gremlin in the background. That's Donovan. Hello. Hello. Anyway, hello everybody. Sorry for the podcast being late. Stuff happened, but we're here now. Just an hour late. Anyway, today we're gonna be talking about a matchup that I've been looking forward to ever since we came up with it and we're talking about it. Fucking Goomba versus Kuriboh. Specifically Kuriboh from Yu-Gi-Oh! And we've got a special guest joining us today, but first, there's always my goated co-host on the show and always every episode now. Hi Donovan, how are you?
you keep waiting like you expect something else.
Well, we have our special guest today in the bottom left corner. We got Brandon. Hi, Brandon.
Hello, it's me, Donovan. Actually, I'm Donovan. It's me.
No.
And for the first time, I think ever,
This one's gonna be so shit.
Oh God. for the first time ever, we actually have two other people helping to judge this one. We have Stripe the Squid and Ghost. Hi, Stripe and Ghost. Fuck.
It's me, Stripe, and I love lasagna.
I miss my wife.
The radio's getting better.
I think Akko likes Yu-Gi-Oh! What a brilliant observation. I do like Yu-Gi-Oh!
I don't think that's true. What a fucking
Sonic
ridiculous
has a pretty
idea.
good point of can Lonely Goomba beat Little Kuriboh?
No,
Oh,
lonely
dude, you're cooked. I get Little Kuriboh and you're stuck with Lonely Goomba. Oh, you're cooked. You're.
Yeah, that's not exactly a fair comparison.
Well, what about Gaijin Goomba versus Little Kuriboh?
That's worse. That is like the inventor of the whole abridged like genre on YouTube versus a dude most famous for drawing tits on a Goomba.
Well, I mean, I guess just to explain the debate proper, because she might be included in your research. I don't know. It's not just it's not like just a Goomba versus a Kuriboh. It's all the Goombas and all the Kuribohs, all the variants of the species. What about a composite? It's just like an army fight. You know those Mario episodes? They make for good army fights.
They do.
Oh, do they?
What's the basic theme of this matchup, Don? Can you explain it?
Well, fun fact, in Japan, Goombas are called Kuriboh. These characters are both named after and themed around chestnuts, and they're kind of like your basic cannon fodder. They die in one hit, but they can at least take the one hit for you.
All round things.
This fight is taking place in most tavern, and there will be
In numbers, there are more.
there will be no prep time.
There is no tavern that can contain the army I brought today.
Ooh, that's some tough talk. All right. Well, I guess we can start off by with Don. Give us a little rundown. What the fuck is a Super Mario Goomba?
Well, Goombas are denizens of the Mushroom Kingdom, much like your toads and your other mushroom things. They come in a lot of different species. There's Goombas, there's Galoombas, there's Micro Goombas, there's Giant Goombas. And when the Mushroom Kingdom was split because Bowser attacked and was like, hey, join me if you fucking hate the monarchy, the Goombas sided with Bowser. And for the past... How long ago did Mario come out? Like 30?
They're on their 40-year anniversary this year, I think.
Yeah, 40-year anniversary. So for 40 years, the Goombas have been trying and failing to stop Super Mario. And typically, they kind of just run towards you or do a little headbutt, or sometimes they stack on top of each other, which is effective enough that somehow a stack of Goombas got a medical license. But typically their battle tactics are pretty simple. What makes them dangerous is the different variants they can come in, but I could get into that when we get into Arsenal a little more.
Okay.
Solid.
Brandon, what is a Kuriboh?
Most people know Goomba. Most people don't know what the fuck Kuriboh is. So,
given how many people in chat have said Kuri, no.
Okay, so in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Duel Monsters, as it's called in the manga, the original Kuriboh is a level 1 Fiend-type monster with 300 attack and 200 defense. For reference, Yu-Gi-Oh! Matches are played with 4,000 to 8,000 life points. So it'd take a while for one by its lonesome to win a game, much less with bigger fish in the pond, like every other Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster that is noticeably stronger than it. Flash forward to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Of today, and there's a whole family of the chestnut creatures called Kuribohs. The archetype serves as the series mascot, even though I'd say Dark Magician and Blue Eyes White Dragon are more iconic. This is like the Pikachu that's always getting different versions of it. And most of the protagonists in the anime and manga have had one, like Yugi, Jaden, and Yuma. While they are naturally unassuming, for what Kuriboh monsters lack in natural raw power, they make up for with effects that are universally intended for mitigating damage or stopping attacks. So with dozens of variants of different elemental affinities and types, coupled with some spell and magic cards that are attributed to the archetype, they can actually enable serious game-winning strategies nowadays. It's not just this one weak little creature anymore. And they're a fan favorite, albeit an unorthodox archetype in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Unlike Goombas, Kuribohs are portrayed as like standardly intelligent creatures, and their attack and defense stat are only weak relative to other Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters. So I think when we like talk more, get more into like abilities and arsenal, that what they have will provide them enough firepower to surpass Bowser's last place line of defense, or even eventually grow in power to match the Mario series' best. So with their higher capacity for teamwork, strategic planning, unkillability, and hacks, I see little reason for this to be an upset, that the smushed mushrooms are going to beat my little fuzzy creatures.
Ooh, holy shit. Bro came prepped. When we talk about Mario canonicity, no, Ghost. Why are you typing in the chat? You're fucking here.
Wait a minute. You're right.
You're fucking here. Stripe is too. Why are you typing in chat? You're here.
Wait.
Oh yeah, Mario did get friend zoned. That's true. They're just friends. Mario.
Mario did get friend zoned.
Yeah, two little silly little species.
Okay.
Epic. Wow, I sure.
I like them.
They are little creatures. I love them. Yeah, we got Sonic in chat now. Holy shit, Sonic the Hedgehog's in chat.
Sonic.
Anyway.
Thank you.
I guess Ecto's debating, not Ecto. Fuck you. Stripe, how do you want to lead the conversation today? What do you want to go into first for both of these teams?
I think the big thing with these characters is like their arsenal and the different versions. So let's actually save that. Should we do stats first?
Stats first seems a little.
That's a little crazy. I'm even gonna say I think that should come later.
Yeah, stats probably should be saved for
Let's
last.
do the arsenal. Let's do the arsenal.
Yeah, let's focus on Arsenal for today. Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be the bulk of what I think both of us have.
Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute. I don't even need to type. I'm in the voice call. I've been tricked.
As mentioned, most Goombas either just run towards you or do a little head bonk, but they've also got different rolling attacks, kicking attacks. They can spit thorns out of their mouth. They can combine together, like literally mesh together into bigger giant Goombas that when you stomp on them, instead of dying, they split into even more Goombas, which could be pretty dangerous if you don't look out. Not necessarily an ability, but a fun statement anyway. Captain Lou Albano in a bumper for the Super Mario Bros. Super Show says that if you're not watching the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, you're going to turn into a Goomba. So, sounds like there's something for me. I don't know. According to Yoshi's Island trading card for Goombas, stomping them flat is also temporarily, that's temporary damage that doesn't kill them outright, because eventually they'll just fluff back up to normal. Also, not particularly notable, there's a Goomba constellation. I don't think it can help. They're pretty talented at specifically baseball. Of all the Mario spin-offs they show up in baseball more than anything else. But they've also played Mario Party, soccer, mahjong, and most recently they've been in Mario Kart World, which gives them access to a few different carts that can, run along walls, fly through the air, go underwater, and the different items you can get out of item boxes. Stuff like your boomerang flower, your fire flower, your invincibility stars, super mushrooms, and whatnot. And more importantly are some of the different Goomba species. We've got Paragoombas that can fly through the air and launch little micro Goombas as attacks. Spiked Goombas and other similar Goombas that have spikes on them can't be stomped on normally and can do little spiked attacks. There are some powered up versions. Usually they're just a different color. There are Goombas like Aqua Goombas. Oh, hey, that's you.
Holy shit, that's me!
Inner Tube Goombas, and Choombas, some of which are more equipped for water. Masked Ghouls are Goomba spirits with Jason masks with and a knife in their head. And when they die, they become a ghost Goomba, which are completely invulnerable to most conventional attacks. And I should note, this is even specifically to Mario, who can hurt ghosts. He can't hurt these.
A ghost Goomba? Like the guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't associate with them.
Racism? Goomba racism!
That's not cool.
There are
Kuriboh votes.
Kuriboh votes, yeah.
The winner is Kuriboh.
There are Goom Beetles, which wear protective helmets. Chaboombas, who have lollipops that are good for healing damage. Goom Bules are little cellular level creatures that are technically classified as a type of Goomba and live inside of Bowser's body. So if there are any of those, I hope the Kuribohs have a good immune system. There are Gold Goombas, which can yield a large amount of coins, which can be helpful for some of the items that the Goombas can use in Mario Party, like the Goomba Orb. There are Goomba Troopas, Goomerang Bros, Goom Bombs, which are fusions with other things like Boomerang Bros, Koopas, Bob-Bombs. Galoombas,
Bro is a good name.
2 hits. They can come with parachutes and in big versions, and they can inhabit a big spiked stiletto, which can stomp through things that are normally invincible even to Mario, like thwomps. But for softer occasions, there's the regular Goomba shoe. There are Goom Brats, which don't walk off ledges. There are prickly Goombas that have spiky shells. There are the Goombas from Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, I think specifically. They might also be in the first one. They just have a pot over their head. They're called Armor Goombas. And they're completely impervious to damage. You cannot hurt them. But they can be affected by special status effects that can make them like run off the side of the map. You can't damage them directly though. Okapi is a real life dude, DJ Nakano Yuki from
Fucking what?
All Night Tokyo, who was cursed by Bowser to become a Goomba. There are the Jacko Goombas, who themselves aren't super notable, but they own their own little planetoid, so that's fun. There are Mecha Kuriboh from the future that are little robot Goombas that can fly and shoot lasers. There are space variants like Octoombas, Octo Guys that are a bit smarter. Elites and Octoboos, which are also immune to damage. Imagine Octoombas for Mario Galaxy, but dead. There are Tanoombas. Some Goombas can utilize power-ups like the Cat Bell or the Tanuki Leaf to gain like tail or claw attacks. But Tanoombas are more unique because they can transform into basically anything. Usually they transform into a bubble or a thwomp, but they can transform into their enemies, including Mario and Luigi. So that's them on our side. Tashrubas are a little stronger and can poison people. Sad Goombas are pretty funny. They're from Super Princess Peach, and they utilize the power of sadness to control water. There's one level, technically, I should note, this is not in the final game, but in the files there's a level where so many fucking sad Goombas are in one place, they act as like a tidal wave, and it causes the game to lag.
Fucking what?
Outer realities. Oh my god, Goombas might win.
There are paper Goombas, which carry battle cards sometimes. They can combine into wheels, accordions, bigger Goombas, and can become cones to prevent being stomped on. And then, some less important ones. Bellhop Goombas from Hotel Mario are quite good with doors, and Rhinestone Goomba is an Elvis impersonator, which is not very helpful in a fight, but it might be good for morale. I think that's most of the smaller Goomba species. There are some special individual Goombas, but I can save them for another category.
Okay.
Because that'll be important for scaling.
Holy shit!
There's a lot of Goombas.
Goombas have like some telepathic powers because they can hold like baseball bats and other stuff like that and drive carts.
No, they use their hands.
They don't have hands! What are you talking about?
They do.
Visible. Probably.
I should note, I went through like maybe a quarter of all the Goomba species there actually are by being very broad, so...
Jesus Christ. Fucking what does Kuriboh have to match that, Brandon? Fucking...
Okay. So, I'll be fully transparent. There are probably less specific varieties of Kuriboh than there are Goombas, but I think there's going to be more that are useful. Like I said in my introduction, the entire point of the Kuriboh archetype is it's meant to mitigate, nullify, or just completely block damage or life point reduction. But before that, I don't know if you're good at, or like the stream layout is good to pull up images. But I should explain a basic concept of Yu-Gi-Oh! In the manga called Ba and Ka, which is kind of like the most equivalent thing I can think of is Ki from Dragon Ball. Basically, Ba is the spirit that a duelist or a person has, and then Ka is like the energy that they project, and it's directly powered by the user's Ba. So evil monsters have evil Ka, good monsters have good Ka. What's notable about Kuriboh is that used by the pharaohs, they're actually the point of a Kuriboh is they're called sin sponges. So they're able to absorb dark Ka into their bodies and spiritual matter into their bodies. I'll bring it up more for scaling, but there's a demon named Tragodia that is just like pure malice incarnate. So in order for the pharaohs are putting Tragodia on trial, and their way to judge whether it had any righteousness left and like could be redeemed was to use winged Kuriboh, absorb all the evil Ka in it, and then on the other side of they put winged Kuriboh on the scale, and on the other side they put the feather of Mot on it, which is like an embodiment of the pharaoh's righteousness, and the Kuriboh just completely sunk the scale because of how malicious and how much dark Ka Tragodia had. So that's just a natural power that most Kuribohs have, because the basic Kuriboh is a dark fiend type effect monster, but they come in a lot of different elemental varieties. Like there's Kuri Photon and Rainbow Kuriboh, which are made out of photons and light respectively, and they're instead of being dark attribute monsters, they are light attribute monsters. Like Goomba with Paragoomba, there's Winged Kuriboh, which is going to be very, very helpful later on. And just to go off some basic effects that they have that would be helpful for, just to give an example for like how they mitigate damage. The normal Kuriboh, their basic ability is during damage calculation, which is just when monster fights monster, how much damage one specific player is going to take. You can discard Kuriboh, and then you take no damage from that interaction. It's not that it makes your monster invincible, it's just that the player, or in this case the army, would not take life point damage like based off of that interaction. It's as if it never happened. And that is life points are Ba energy, for the record. So yeah, Winged Kuriboh does a similar thing. When it's on the field, you can send it to the graveyard, and for the rest of that turn, which we can get into the nitty-gritty of what a turn is in this context, you take no more damage. Kuriboh, when you activate its effect, you take no damage from a battle with it, and then you gain life points equivalent to the power of the monster that's attacking it. There are some Kuribohs that act kind of like parasites. There's Rainbow Kuriboh, like I mentioned, and Detonating Kuriboh, where their whole goal is you can activate their effect and they attach to another monster, like your opponent's monster. Rainbow Kuriboh, if it were to attach to a powerful Goomba, it just cannot attack anymore. And Detonating Kuriboh, if it were to attach to a powerful Goomba, all of its special abilities and effects are negated. Sphere Kuriboh can switch a monster on the offense to defense. There's the Kuriboh brothers. There's Kuriboh, which summons another Kuriboh when it dies. Kuriboh, which helps get the spells out. Kuriboh, which adds Kuribohs from the deck to the hand. And Kuriboh, which gives any Kuriboh monster 1,500 extra attack points, which will be helpful for one if we're saving big boss monsters for later. So it seems like a lot of these Kuribos are sacrificing themselves, trying to mitigate the damage the Goombas are doing or lowering their attack points. Kuriborn can bring back a Kuriboh from death, or banish itself to bring back as many dead Kuribos from death as it wants. So there's a lot of ways for them to resurrect or gain life points back. And then there's a Link monster, Link Kuriboh, which will turn any monster's attack straight to 0. There's also some spell cards that can go into, like Berserker Crush, Transcendent Wings, which will be really helpful. But the main 2 spell cards I think will be very important for this debate are Multiply and Detonate. With Multiply, you tribute a Kuriboh and summon as many Kuriboh tokens as possible. That is the wording on the card. And normally, a Duel Monsters game, you are limited to 5 to 6 monster zones. But I'd argue if the army of Goombas has as X amount of Goombas, Multiply will summon Kuriboh tokens to match that amount of Goombas. And then that pairs really poorly with Detonate, which reads, destroy as many Kuribos or Kuriboh tokens as you control, and then the opponent has to destroy as many monsters as you destroyed with your Detonate. Yeah, if we're saving the big boss monsters for the next part, I will let you bring up yours, but it seems like a lot of Goombas, the less straightforward ones, like the ones that is impervious to traditional damage, there are some abilities that can get around, and the one that's just a ghost that can't be attacked physically, Kuribos being like sin sponges and being able to absorb dark spiritual energy, should be able to get rid of those.
Fucking wow. Whoa.
Yeah, I suppose I should cover some of the more important things I neglected to mention, specifically the one subspecies of Goomba that I did not bring up. I believe are called Glombas, who are infected with Glome Goombas. They can make clones of themselves, but more importantly, infect enemies with Glome. I believe this is for Mario and Luigi Brothership, which makes them resentful and isolationist, meaning they will not work with anyone and may turn on their own allies. While this could potentially be a problem for the Goombas, as long as it's on the Kuriboh side of the field, it could potentially fuck them up pretty bad. However, I don't know if Glome works in a way that being a sin sponge would negate it. It is worth noting, though, that they have a virus that can make you, like, completely fuck over teamwork, which, given that Kuriboh, like Goombas, have strength in numbers, could be pretty dangerous, I would say. But some of the more special individuals we have on the Goomba side of things, we've got Goomboss, which is one of the strongest Goombas, since he's amped by the Star Rod itself from the first Paper Mario. He can summon armies of Goombas and utilize Goom Nuts for attack, and can grow larger as he gets angrier. And he's got the red and blue Goomba bros with him. My goat Crinkle Goomba can combine into a Goomba wheel. He can combine into a Goomba wheel with a bunch of other random Paper Goombas, and literally beat the shit out of Mario and Luigi until Paper Mario joined in to save them. So he had them dead to rights. This is Mario and Luigi from the RPGs I want to know, which is like their strongest iteration. And in one of the last games in the series. And he almost beat the shit out of them basically by himself. He also has knowledge about battle cards that he can use. Most specifically, I gave them the ones that Goombas can drop, which is mushrooms for healing health and one-up mushrooms, which can resurrect fallen allies. So they also have a means of resurrection. Let's see. We've got Captain Goomba from Mario Party 8, who has a pirate crew, a ship, and a cannon that he can shoot people out of. We've got Captain Goomba from Mario and Luigi, who has his special rocket headbutt technique, can feign defeat and buff allies, parry attacks, drop thwomps on people, 1v1 captain. So, like, whatever your boss monster is, Captain Goomba from Mario and Luigi can 1v1 him, and can provide a massive HP buff if his allies are Goombas specifically, which they are, and has stat buffing beans. So he has a lot of means of buffing all of the Goombas at once. There's Private Goomp, who is good at dodging attacks and has survived fighting Mario and Luigi on multiple occasions. We've got Mega Sparkle Goomba and Paper Macho Goomba, who are big Goombas made of paper mache and cardboard and shit. Paper Macho Goomba specifically is notable because you can't hurt it until you remove all the stickers off of it. And the outlaw variant of the Paper Macho Goomba has a gun. So, that's cool.
Goomba gun!
Dr. Sporus von Fungenstein created doors to other worlds, like other universes. And one of the craziest ones that I found is in Mario Party. When you go to a specific little Goomba island, you find the Goomba idols, also known in Japan as omnipotent Goombas, which are conduits for supposed Goomba gods. They're just statues, but they are supposedly conduits by which you can contact Goomba gods, stated by their name to be omnipotent. So take that with a grain of salt, but they're out there. There's Goombette from Mario Odyssey, who has a supply of power moons and can respawn and despawn at will. Goomfrey is a renowned criminal and hitman. Kuriboh, who is a doctor, and Dr. Goomba Tower are both licensed medical experts, so we've got medics on the field. The Greaser Goombas have motorcycles, so that's helpful. And Tomei Kuriboh is just a horrifying-looking news anchor. I could try to... Hold on, let me grab an image of him so Aqua can put this on.
I need to see this now. I need to... Goomba-versal? So true.
Yeah, Goomba-versal.
Hey, everyone.
Ugh. Yeah, I forgot that's what he looked like. Hold on.
No, I need to know what this fucking character looks like.
This is Tomei Kuriboh.
Oh my god, I hate him. Hold on, let me pull this up on stream. Chat needs to see how much I fucking
He has like a whole torso and arms.
Oh,
he's just a news anchor. He's not important, but he looks fucking vile, so I thought I'd bring him up.
I hate him. Look at him. Chat, look at this guy.
More specifically, some of these Goombas can utilize special items from specific games. Like in Mario Party, we've got the Goomba Orb, which summons a Goomba and randomly reassigns coins. We've got the Goomba Dice Block, which has a chance to yield coins alongside many coin-adding items. Ooh. We've got the Warp Box, which allows them to teleport. The Custom Dice Block to prevent dice rolls. So if there are any Kuriboh cards that have dice roll effects, this can negate those. I don't think there are, but if. They've got a few different items that allow them to steal or redistribute coins, which my main purpose for bringing up a lot of the coin stuff was technically swapping coins might help if there's either a coin toss mechanic, and I was thinking about Kuriboh tokens, but those seem to just be pieces of, like, Kuriboh essence, so I don't think...
Yeah, they're tokens not in the sense that they're currency, they're like pawns, pretty much.
Yeah. There's the swap mirror, which allows it to swap places with foes. So, like, say for the Glomba, which is more dangerous, I could potentially use that to swap that to the other side of the battlefield. And there's Rewind, which it just allows them to rewind time by a few seconds. And obviously they've got stuff they can use in sports. They've got a big ice skate. They've got lightning, which shrinks the Kuribohs, but I don't know how useful that is, given most of their worth is magical anyway. But the two most important individual Goombas to bring up are Goombella from Thousand Year Door and Goombario from the first Paper Mario, who both have the ability Tattle, which allows them to divine information about the weaknesses and backstory of any individual that they face in battle, even if they've never met them before. And they can use items like badges, enemies' attacks will miss. So they have a few different stat boosting things and things that will make them miss. And more notable about Goombella and Goombario is that they have directly served alongside Mario against characters like Bowser or the Shadow Queen.
Hey, everyone's saying
I
in
fixed
chat
it.
that
I
they
fixed
can't
it. I
do
got it.
Goomba.
I got it. I got it.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, Don cut out a little bit, but it's fine. I'm pretty sure it's fine.
I mean, did you get the gist of it?
Yeah, we got the main gist of like everything you've been bringing up. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, those are the main two to bring up. Since they're Mario's party members directly, they should be comparable to him, Goombella and Goombario.
Chat, what did y'all last get of Don's stuff? Just for reference, because he did bring up that Goombella and Goombario can like analyze people that aren't that they don't know and know like weaknesses and stuff. Is like what the main thing he brought up. Okay. Yeah, and then they scaled Mario directly. If y'all didn't catch that, that's what he was saying. The OBS is weird. Anyway, Brandon, feel free to go off, King.
That the Goombas are going to do to them or slow their progress by lowering their attack points. This is very bad when you consider one of the big boss monster of the archetype is Kuriboh. So Kuriboh's entire thing is for every single Kuriboh that goes down in this fight, not including the tokens, it gets 300 extra points of attack on top of already being a 1500 attack monster. Now, scaling Yu-Gi-Oh monsters to each other based off of their attacks can get extremely wonky. But I think like once we actually get into power scaling, like attack potency and stuff, the Kuriboh monsters, at very least Kuriboh there's be up there with some of the high tier threats in Yu-Gi-Oh, just given how many different species of Kuribohs there were. If I recall, that's about like there's like 30 specific variants of Kuribohs.
Okay.
But the big one is winged Kuriboh. Unassuming, same stat line as normal Kuriboh, 300 attack, 200 defense. So in the manga, winged Kuriboh was given the feather of Mott and was able to steal away all of Trigodia's Ka, which harnessed the power of the planets in our solar system. With the help of Light and Darkness Dragon, Jaden and Chaz were able to defeat Trigodia, and this is a permanent thing that Winged Kuriboh keeps because he's able to just do so much nonsense in the anime and in the manga. Like in the anime, at the end when Jaden and Yugi are gonna have their duel, Winged Kuriboh is the one who initiates this strange paradox, like time loop. Like he just sticks Jaden and Yugi into an alternate timeless dimension, and I see very little reason that Winged Kuriboh couldn't use that offensively, similarly to how he was fighting Trigodia. And if you want to take it requiring Light, Darkness Dragon, and Winged Kuriboh to defeat Trigodia, eventually Jaden and Chaz have a duel at the end of the manga, and that's where the card I'm the most concerned about for Goomba comes in, is able to defeat Light and Darkness Dragon, and is probably where their best scaling is going to come from. So, with the spell card Transcendent Wings, and you might want to put this on screen, this is Winged Kuriboh level 10. That has possibly one of the most ridiculous abilities for this type of fight.
Okay.
So, Winged Kuriboh level 10 can only be summoned through Transcendent Wings. During your opponent's battle phase, which is just the course of this battle or whenever a Goomba initiates an attack, you tribute Winged Kuriboh level 10 and destroy as many attack position monsters your opponents control as possible. And if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the combined attack of every single Goomba or monster destroyed. Now you can argue, I think you could argue in a fight with more competent opponents that some would be blocking, some would be you have to question whether they're in attack or defense position. But these are Goombas. These are mindless creatures, effectively, that just walk into you. So I would argue most of them would be in attack position. And as for that remaining residual damage, that's just going to go to the rest of the boss monsters that can survive this effect from Wind Kuriboh level 10, which again worked on Light and Darkness Dragon, who has 2,800 attack points and should be comparable to other dragon monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if you want to just jump straight into scaling, because that seems like a good
That does seem like where we're gonna be headed. I don't know if Ecto's back yet.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, there we go. Do you want to jump into scaling? Is that where y'all want to go?
Because I can go straight into that with
Okay, feel
Light and
free.
Darkness Dragon. Okay, so again, you can push back against this if you want, because scaling Yu-Gi-Oh monsters purely based off of their attack stat to each other is pretty wonky. But so Light and Darkness Dragon, 2,800 attack, should be comparable to other dragon monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Trishula of the Ice Barriers, who in the lore was just going to freeze over the entire planet. And then you have, there's Curry Photon, which is a part of the Photon and Galaxy Eyes archetype. And I think they should be way stronger than this one, Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon, haha Donovan, who is just the size of a galaxy. Same thing with Galaxy Brave, also the size of a galaxy. And I'm not saying that a normal Kuriboh with just raw physical strength is going to be enough to reach galaxy level or other cosmic feats, but Wind Kuriboh level 10 specifically can take out these galaxy-sized celestial bodies of creatures.
For reference, chat, this is the galaxy-sized monster you just brought up. I'm like a little delayed just because fucking OBS is funny. Okay. Galaxy Brave. Hold on, let me pull this up. I should just be.
You need to show Galaxy Cloud Dragon should work. That's like a more. That's actually it popping out of like a galaxy. Galaxy Brave is just like a statement for it.
Yeah. Let me show this. Sorry, chat. That's the other thing. Hold on, it's fine. Okay.
Wait.
Where were we at, actually? Where?
I was just saying, yeah. Wind Kuriboh level 10 should scale to a lot of the galactic tiered Yu-Gi-Oh monsters. And I just think like just the Goomba's battle strategy of just walking forward for most of them is going to play into Wind Kuriboh level 10's WinCon of just nuking all the ones that are in attack mode, sending all their physical attack stat onto whatever Goombas remain. And then there's stuff like there's a lot of hacks abilities like with Multiply and Detonate, which is meant to sacrifice Kuribohs to destroy an equivalent amount of monsters on the other team, and then using something like Kuriboh to just bring my side back from the grave. Or using stuff like Link Kuriboh or Detonating Kuriboh or Rainbow Kuriboh to just turn any a stat advantage the Goombas have to 0 or making them unable to attack.
Okay, wow. I guess I do want to ask a question before we get into scaling for Mario or Goombas. Brandon, are we going under the implication that like there is a duelist like managing all these Kuribohs just because like you do have to like summon cards and stuff? Is that like...
I would say so, because the monsters can't really activate spell cards on their own, but under the same pretenses, we agreed before we started that this duelist would only have Kuriboh cards. Like, right. I could bring up... There's cards like Wind Kuriboh level 6, which summons an elemental hero, Dark Magic Kuriboh, which summons the Dark Magician, and then there's Galactic Kuriboh, which summons Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, which in and of itself, that's ridiculous, because it actually... Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, there's a statement that it encompasses all the light in the universe. However, that would require the duelist in this battle to have those cards in his deck. And I think that's outside help to say that they also have the potential to bring out Dark Magician or Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, being just... So, would the win con for Goomba, in this case, be killing that duelist, then? Because, like, once that duelist is dead, then there is no more, like...
I mean, if they do enough damage to, like, Kuribohs that can actually proper take damage, that will just end the...
That'd also count, yeah.
Again, when I brought up when they were being Sin Sponges and Ba and Ka energy, Ba is life points. So, yeah, damaging the Kuribohs enough would eventually kill the duelist. But like I said, the Kuriboh's whole gimmick is lower your opponent's attack so you're not losing life points.
Right,
and I don't think they can attack the I don't think they can attack the duelist directly, though.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, feel free to go into scaling for Goomba, Don. I just
Not
wanted to
unless,
make sure
again,
that
they
was
wipe out all
correct.
the Kuribos. That's how you do a direct attack.
Right.
All right, now I'm going to talk about every Mario fan's favorite part of the Mario franchise. Let's talk Mario power scaling.
Yay!
Yay!
So, first of all, a baseline feat for just Goombas in general is in one of the Mario Party mini games. I think it's called like Light War or something like that, or like Photon War or some shit like that. You send little waves of light at each other, and the Goomba can jump over those. So that's baseline light speed reaction. But that's fucking nothing. Given that Goombella and Goombario have kept up with Mario as part of his party, given that Crinkle Goomba beat the shit out of Mario and Luigi at the same time until Paper Mario saved him, and, excuse me, given that Tanoombas can just turn into Mario and Luigi, not to mention that, like, Goomboss and Captain Goomba and probably the Goomps have all run into Mario and Luigi, kept up with them before, I think it's fair to say that they are at least fractionally comparable to the Mario Brothers. And I think that might be it for scaling, because as far as this debate goes, because in Mario RPG, for example, they fight Kulex, who states that he's going to consume all of the universe, not inconsistent with in the Wario franchise, who should directly compare to Mario. Even if that weren't the case, Wario has been damaged by Goombas before. They'd have to be fractionally comparable. Wario has survived the Shake King, I think turning his castle into another dimension and blowing it up in his face. I think that was the context. And on the higher end of speed, in Mario Galaxy, I think it is, the Mario Brothers are able to land safely on planets after traveling between galaxies in a pretty short amount of time, which can get to trillions of times the speed of light. But in Mario Party 3, there's, I think it's called the Millennium Star, that they're directly able to fight, and this is a few Mario Party entries before the Goombas playable, so reasonably speaking, all of the characters should be well past being comparable to the Millennium Star by the time the Goomba's comparable to them. Specifically the one in Mario Party. It has a feat worth, I believe, 73 quadrillion times the speed of light, or quintillions of times the speed of light. Either way, really fucking fast. But if we want to get into the highest tier of things, Mario in just his base form, in the Mario and Luigi games, is able to match the power of the Dream Stone. Now, what the Dream Stone entails is a little debatable. On the lower end of things, it's stated that the Dream Stone creates a universe for every single unconscious mind there is in the universe. Assuming that the Mario universe only has as many living things in it that dream as, like, there are people on Earth. That's already 8 billion times universal. And Mario is able to not only compare directly to that, but its counterpart, the Dark Stone, which I think, I want to say Dimentio used, or one of the Paper Mario villains. Yoshi and Peach were able to just contend with that and destroy it directly, as I recall. So this is a pretty consistent, they scale to these things, and there are characters in my little Goomba army that have kept up with Mario and Luigi in this series. So even if they're only fractionally comparable to 8 billion times universal, that's pretty big. That is the massive lowball you could give it. On a high end, there could be non-nillions of things living in the universe, assuming even that the Mario universe is only as big as our observable universe. Because in Mario Galaxy, we've been to other planets, we've seen that basically every planet there is populated to some extent. But there's also a statement that says there could be potentially an infinite number of dream universes being manipulated by the Dream Stone, which, being fractionally comparable to infinite universal, is, you know, a fraction of infinity is infinity. Like a comparable fraction at the very least. So, needless to say, if we're taking the Goombas at their highest end, they get ridiculously fucking powerful. But even on their lower ends, they should scale to, like, the lower end feats from some of, like, the 7-star children, like tanking a supernova, or falling into a black hole, or, like, knocking the moon out of orbit.
Cloud says what?
Yo! Yo!
No, I figured
It's over.
figured Mario would have some ridiculous stuff. I didn't mention speed yet, which I think is gonna be might be the most surprising thing I found for Kuriboh. So shout out to Tommy from the Crossover X team to help me find this one. So, okay, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, Rainbow, Kuriboh, and Yuma are traveling through a rip from our universe, from the edge of our universe to the center of the astral world. So, if we just use which is an alternate universe. So, if we just use the dimensions of our, how many light years across our universe is, and the time frame it took them to travel to the center of the astral world, that got roughly, I said this to Aqua earlier, 97 quadrillion times light speed for Rainbow Kuriboh. And it's not like it's demonstrably not demonstrably faster than most of the other Kuriboh monsters. They're all of a similar stat line. Where things get crazy, though, is when you consider statements about the astral world calling it a higher dimensional plane, a higher dimension of existence. So as lame as it is to argue, if you're going to use that stuff for Mario, there is a higher dimensional stuff for Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Kuriboh monsters as well. And the astral world specifically has been threatened so many times by monsters with weaker stat lines than the 2800 attack power of Light and Darkness Dragon. So there are high ends for Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters as well that get them to bare minimum universal. If you want to just say the astral world is a carbon copy of ours, or if you want to use statements where they get higher dimensional tiering, which is everyone loves that as much as Mario.
I just love higher dimensional tiering.
We made the debate so much fun.
I got the biggest smile on my face. What's up, Ghost?
I'm looking at Stripe. Stripe, I don't like higher dimensional tiering.
Well, Stripe?
Because you're smelling
What?
lame.
Why not?
Dumb.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
So what we're seeing right now is like the Goombas. The Goombas seem to have more powerful players individually, but I was mentioning that there are some Kuriboh monsters that can lower their attack to 0 to debuff that stat advantage or make them unable to attack. So, and I just think generally that the Kuribohs are much more strategic with one another. You can argue that there's some Goombas that can like dissuade their teamwork or general personalities, but in the anime, the Kuriboh brothers have an ability that's not really on the flavor text for the cards. So as long as I'm gonna mess this up. Kuriboh, Ba, Bei, Boo, and Be, the 5 Kuriboh brothers are together, and they can always reconnect either with the use of the spell card 5-star Twilight, or Kuri Babylon can split itself into the 5 Kuriboh brothers. They have an ability that I think is called Star Defense, where they can just block any traditional attack or effect.
Okay.
This hurts my head.
No, I'm sorry.
There's so much.
Mario, I had to.
I was not expecting to see a very complicated matchup, but like
It wouldn't seem like one, no. But when you give them literally everything,
There's
you
so
can get
much.
very like. There are a lot of semantics. You can either make them outer poo-poo versal and stupid fast, or you can take them as they probably are, and they're like a bit stronger than you would think, but they're still kind of fodder weak enemies.
I think, like, to be fair, there are also 4D or 5D arguments for Mario. I won't get into that. I think the most reasonable end is, like, around Universal, because that's what characters, like, outright state or perform, like Kulix in Mario RPG or Rosalina, who Mario and friends are just generally on the same level as. And that's typically around the level of destruction that, like, Mario RPG villains will pose. The likes of which Goombella and Goombario specifically have gone up against, and that, like, Goomboss is powered by a fraction of the Star Rod, which Bowser, I think, was going to use to do the same thing. So I think around Universal, and I think the feat was 73 quintillion times the speed of light. But even not taking that as a high-end quadrillions, there are multiple feats in Mario that get around that speed. It wouldn't surprise me if the Kuribohs were a little faster, but at a baseline,
What's really helpful about like Yu-Gi-Oh effects is magic cards and effects sometimes have the flavor text. They are quick effects, like quick play spell cards or just quick ability effects. And Wing Kuriboh level 10 with that big board nuke is a quick effect, which means it should be faster than actual monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! That are moving, including the Egyptian gods, who were able to, again, thanks to Tommy, there's a feat of them like transcending time and space and fighting at like a higher dimension. So even if I wouldn't personally argue that the Kuribohs themselves are immeasurable, their effects and the spell cards should be able to
I think
act
it's fair to say that once
instantaneously.
the effect is activated, it's more or less instant.
Yeah. Similarly, it seems like the Goombas have better attacks and defense stats generally. Like they have it at all times, and Kuriboh have to rely on this ability going off to level the playing field or take out some of their strongest foes. But like was said, it's instant. As long as, because Transcendent Wings, which turns Wing Kuriboh into Wing Kuriboh level 10, is a quick play spell card.
And I will note for a lot of the Kuriboh's like stat debuffs, the Goombas have so many means via badges, via Captain Goomba, via
Here you go, Nero.
some of the general abilities they have are like beans and stuff to pick their stats back up. I don't know all of the intricacies of how that necessarily plays off of each other, but at the very least, they do also have means to affect their own stats. I don't think they have any to affect their enemy stats.
Ray, yeah, Ray pointed out that multiply, where they get an equivalent amount of, where they can fill the board with Kuriboh tokens, is also a quick play spell card.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, with every Kuriboh down, that's still Kuri Babylon raising an attack stat, matching some of the higher tiers in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
I hate to inform Kuri Babylon, but Blue Shell.
Blue shell! Okay. There's so much shit. If chat has questions, Striper Ghost, do you have any fucking questions? Oh my god.
This is a really complicated matchup, which I was not expecting. Like they seem decently comparable in stats. I think Goomba has the slight strength, while Kuriboh has a slight speed, but they're not like too big of a difference. Goomba definitely has the more notable members on his side, but Kuriboh has a lot more like dumb like effects with the weirdness of Yu-Gi-Oh! As a card game. I don't know.
This is so much. This is so much shit. Which, I mean, to be expected if you're fucking compositing all of them and giving them fucking everything. Like, there's
it's Mario
so much.
and Yu-Gi-Oh! That's a headache waiting to happen.
That is fucking deadly
I reiterate
combination.
that Captain Lou Albano did say, if these Kuribohs are not watching the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, they will turn into Goombas, in which case I
Okay, but does Captain Lou Albano specifically like use his Lou Albano beam, or is it just like a passive thing?
It's a passive
How do they
thing.
turn-
If you're not watching the show, you will turn into a Goomba. It is inevitable.
So that everyone becomes a Goomba.
Okay.
You will turn into a Goomba.
I have a counter to that actually, but I do have a question too. The counter is that since they're watching Goombas, they're technically watching the Super Mario Brothers show. Boom. The question.
Incorrect.
Nah. There's no canon. So it all is canon.
Fucking get out of the question.
The biker Goombas. The biker Goombas are from the cartoon. So
That is true. Okay.
That is true.
Kuribohs have any way to deal with, like, the defensive Goombas or, like...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
can they kill
What
the
is
ghost
down?
Goombas that even Mario can't kill?
I can show this on screen. You can show this one on screen, Aqua. I forgot I had panels. This is Winged Kuriboh in the manga absorbing all the Ka, or dark spiritual energy, from Tragodia. So my argument is that because it's a sin sponge, you would be able to absorb the Goombas that are just ethereal spirits, because Ka and Ba are spiritual energy. And then my idea for the Goombas that are just completely immune to physical damage is Wing Kuriboh doing what he did to Jaden and Yugi and just stranding them in like a pocket dimension or time.
Yeah. In all fairness, the Armor Goomba from Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, I think one of the things you can defeat it with is BFR, so that's an effective counter to at least that one.
Okay. We're getting near the end. This is so much. Oh my god. Okay.
I
Get in the
was expecting
locked
like
in.
easy Goomba W because I figured you're gonna give him like Goombella and Goombario and Goombas who like they're basically like mainstream Mario characters.
That is a
like,
thing.
Main line.
Is because they have the ability of tattle, which tells them information about stuff. The way I interpret that is they can just read the card effects.
That's true.
That is true. Okay.
My counter to
I think that's
that
fair.
would be
Fair.
I had preluded that I would argue Kuribohs are portrayed as being more intelligent, not just in terms of instincts, like walking off a cliff like a Goomba would, but I remember specifically in one of the episodes of the anime where I think it was, I forget what it was, what the specific arc was called, but every duelist had to pick a boss monster. But Kuriboh instinctively chose itself. Like it chose itself as Yugi's boss monster without him choosing, and he was like all frustrated, like, oh, I didn't mean to choose you. I don't want to, but he couldn't change it. Some stupid pedantic rule that whatever they were dueling in set in place. But this was because Kuriboh knew that it was the path to victory. It being Yugi's boss monster would really help him out in this specific duel. So they are fairly strategic, and that's almost shows a bit of foresight that like it has some like. I don't want to say sixth sense, but some awareness on the type of duelist or opponent it's going to face without even seeing any cards being dealt yet.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, Goombas
I
are
will
also,
know-
they have some pretty smart members. They have professors, they have Goombella.
Yeah, they've got professors, licensed doctors, like military leaders, archaeologists. Like they've got a lot of smart. Most Goombas are like civilized members of society. It's just the ones that Bowser sent out that are fucking stupid for some
It
reason.
really is just, they seem dumb because it's a gameplay thing. When you have the ones in sports games that can play baseball and cart well.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are getting towards the end. I do wanna
Yeah.
get into the final arguments. So, if both of you have final arguments y'all want to make, Don, do you want to go first?
I'm gonna say, I think that most of the stat debuffs the Goombas can get around. I think the Goombas being relative enough in speed and having higher just attack and durability in general, and broadly speaking, having better leaders on their side, and access to just like better equipment, I would say, might be able to take out like the big boss monsters even when they do show up, and that a numbers advantage might not necessarily matter depending on which Goombas are still around, because some of them can just like conjure more Goombas. And I think the Kuribohs having to focus on the more specialized Goombas that can't be hurt by traditional means might distract them a little bit from like the more powerful Goombas there. The main thing I'm banking on is the Goomba's ability to keep up with their arsenal and a general power advantage. That's the main thing I would hinge my argument on.
All right, Brandon. What about you?
It's just in my eyes, it really just seems like Kuribohs have so many abilities that even if there are tactical minds or they're able to read the cards, this is foreign territory for the Goombas. They're going to have to deal with the Kuribohs multiplying to match their numbers, just spontaneously exploding and killing off a huge, like, an equivalent chunk of their army. Wing Kuriboh level 10 coming in and nuking the field and transferring damage. Kuriboh, I haven't really been making as big of a deal about them, but just reviving everybody. I just think there's just so many varied abilities on the side that's more strategic and a little bit faster that I think just the base instinct of a Goomba is not as helpful.
It's fair. Very fair. Okay. Stripe. Who are you going for? I know this is a lot, but you gotta make a decision here.
You had to give it to
Pick a
me
character.
first. Okay.
Pick a character.
Okay, so again, speed and strength are pretty equal. One has a slight advantage, the other has the other slight advantage. I do think Kuriboh can definitely win here, but I think it requires a lot of setup compared to the Goombas, where it's just like they're just kind of built different. They have all these dumb abilities.
That's crazy to say about
I hadn't
Goomba.
considered what if the Kuribohs deck bricks.
Or the cards, baby. You gotta believe.
Yeah, no. The Goombas, they just have so many stupid things they can do. Just instinctively, they don't need to set up like the Kuribos do. They have, I would say their leaders are more intelligent than your average Kuriboh. They just have way more. I assume it's like one of each individual member, right?
Yes.
Like you have.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they want to spawn more, if they have that ability, they can spawn more. But they're starting with one of each member. In which case, Goombas just have far more, so they have easy numbers advantage. I think the whole thing of like them, Goomba and Goombario reading the cards can help them a lot. This is a really complicated matchup. I might just be leaning towards Goomba because I know him better, but I still definitely think Kuriboh can win this. But I'm going to lean slightly towards the Goomba.
I mean, everything you said makes sense. That's fair.
Seems fair. Okay, Ghost. What about you?
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh shit.
Ah shit.
I hate you
Oh,
guys.
shit.
Make fun of me all the time.
I'm sorry, bestie.
I'm kind of seeing the Wing Kuriboh sweep. Since it's one of all of them, right? One of like everything.
Yeah.
To start.
Yep.
One of each individual member. They can spawn more if it's possible for them.
Since for the card effect, it's only during the opponent's battle phase, not even when the Wing Kuriboh is like attacked. It looks like it's like it just. We've already said the quick effects are instant. It would go hit all like the non-defensive Goombas if they survive, which probably isn't likely because if we're assuming they're like roughly around the same like strength and speed, because I've heard Uni for like I'm hearing Uni for like both of them, give or take.
Yeah.
Or like some weird transcendent stuff. If the Wing Kuriboh's effect one-shots them, I don't see why it wouldn't one-shot all the other things that are like defensive. And at that point, yeah, they can bring them back, but also they can also bring back the Wing Kuriboh. I think they counter each other out for that part. I think it is just, can they get rid of like the defensive Goombas or the ghosts, which from what I've heard, yeah, they can through BFR or absorbing them. I think the big thing was probably going to be the Gloom stuff. But if they just destroy the Gloom like as soon as possible, then I mean, yeah, even if they're gloomed, I think I do make the interpretation that
They're gloomed.
what the fuck?
That sounds so weird.
Shut up. When they're infected by the gloom spores or whatever, I think that would consider them not on the Kuriboh side, which means they'd be affected by Wing Kuriboh anyways. Unless it's Wing Kuriboh, then like yeah, he destroys everything, and then like I guess it's a Metal Sonic win.
Yeah, I was gonna say he gets a Metal Sonic, he gets a fucking Robo ends it.
Yeah, at that point, I think it's just more likely instant blows everything up. The defensive ones get BFR'd, and the ghosts just get. The ghosts they get absorbed. The dark energy.
For the record, switching sides is totally like a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there's cards like Change of Heart, Enemy Controller.
Magnet Mosquito, don't forget Magnet Mosquito.
Sure.
Yeah, don't forget Glup Shell.
No, I kicked Brandon's ass with that one time.
You
This is
could use
true.
fucking Monster Reborn, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
It happened in the anime. I know that much.
Okay, so Ghost.
No,
Okay, sorry.
I was sticking to just Kuriboh cards though, but yeah, you are right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
assuming you're on Team Kuriboh. Okay.
Yeah.
So personally, this is fucking, oh my god. Okay, so there's so much shit to go over for both, and obviously, like, I feel like properly analyzing this is gonna take way longer than a fucking hour-long podcast. But off of what was said today, I think, while it is absolutely true that Goombas have knowledgeable, like, intelligent people on their sides, I really don't buy the argument that a lot of them, or a majority of them, are super intelligent. I think being able to, like, understand, like, what the card effects are with Goombario and Goombella is really useful.
Well, my argument was that most of them were super intelligent. It's that most of them are, like, sentient.
They're sentient. I'm not going to disagree there. But
it's like, in the Mario RPGs, we pretty explicitly see that most Goombas do just, like, live in towns and just do, like, a day job.
It's fair. But what I'm getting at is, I think being able to like read what card descriptions are and like being able to understand that is helpful for Goombella and Goomario and then very like smart people on their side. I don't know. For me personally, I can't see them getting across that information and finding ways to counter all of that when not only are Kuriboh slightly faster and have abilities to nerf and constantly just keep messing with their stats. Even if Goombas have people on their team that can help buff their stats back up, that's like half of what their team's trying to do for the fucking fight. I just think Kuriboh is eventually going to be able to, like Stripe was saying earlier, even if it's set up, eventually they'll have the time with the better speed and the more hacksy stuff to eventually just find out a way to get rid of all of them at once, or like over time. I think they win a war of attrition, so definitely more complicated, and I think it can be very, very close. This is a very close debate, but I think I'm leaning Kuriboh right now. And I think...
Okay, but I raise you.
Okay.
I raise you. What if Goomba wins the coin toss, chooses to go first, reads the card effect of win Kuriboh, and it's not their turn so they can't attack yet? It just switches everyone to defense position so they can't get nuked. Boom, get fucked.
Well, you're
The
right.
winner is Goomba.
The winner is good. No, I'm kidding. Okay. And the chat is also going for Kuriboh, so this is a 3-1 Kuriboh win? But I think this is so much more closer.
No, this match goes hard. This match is so sick. Like I'm in love with it. This is such a funny idea.
So
57 to
much.
42 now isn't that bad. That's
That's
good.
so close. Fought very, very, very hard. That's so good.
I tried
By the way,
actually. I tried
Aqua,
so hard.
can you show these two on screen and show them how much they look like Dawn?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me
No,
play
they
this.
fucking don't. Stop. Leave me alone.
Hold on, chat. Y'all should see this. Y'all will agree. Y'all will see the vision. Hold on.
You're bullying me.
Okay, chat. I'm gonna put these images right next to Dawn. Can y'all agree?
I'm just taking my victory lap. I'm sorry, Dawn. No, that was good though. I knew Goomba would have some like bullshit. I was not ready for it.
now, chat.
I'm still on Goomba, but like, yeah, I can definitely see why he lost.
There's so much shit. If we actually did this as like a full-on thing, there would have to be so much to fucking look into. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I say these two are pretty similar to Dawn. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching, chat room. Sorry for being late. Go check out recently a new Galaxy Grudge match dropped with me in it. Go check that out. I showed it on the community tab. We'll put it in the description. Check that out.
Self-promoting in your own
Yeah,
content.
yeah, self-promoting. Go check out Brandon. He's
Watch
also
my
on a lot of
channel,
Galaxy
Evil.
video stuff. Watch Stripe stuff. If Death List is still a thing, watch Ghost.
I'm
Go
trying.
read Devilman. Go read the original.
Yeah, go read
manga.
Devilman. Thank you all for...
Go watch
I
the
just made
Super
the
Mario
Universe
Brothers
is
Super
pretty
Show.
Awesome. Go watch.
Or
that.
you'll turn into a Goomba. Thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.